My bike's off the radar. No. I know I wrote it here. Did it break? Oh, no, I have it on my inventory, right. Oh, right, I have to repair the bike because now I've broken it. It's because I am a child who likes to fall off silos and die all the time and break bicycles. Let's see. I forgot what I came here for. It was the repair kit. I think, yeah, here we go. Repair kit gets me out of the bicycle problem. Carrying repair kits around costs you materials. And everybody wins. There's 10 more sewing kits? Nice. I can't believe how much Rust ripped this game off. It's just... Or I don't know who ripped off who, but... I believe it's by Rust. Rust probably really robbed this game, actually. Because they're like the same game. Ouch. Aw. Stupid broken leg. Where's the other bike? I rode... Oh, it's in my inventory, right. I have to repair it. How do you repair things? Oh, I have to put it in the inventory and then use the kit. I go into that. It won't let me repair the bike. It's fully broken. Why? When I picked this bike up, it had 13, or it was like 13%, but now it doesn't have a help bar anymore, or something. Let's see. Can I place it? Oh, good. There's a repair option in the... Oh, good. In the wheel, there's a repair option. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Now, this... How do I find this airdrop? It's like...
I mean, it's on your compass. You just go that way.
It's on the compass. Oh, yes, I see it now. Okay. Oh, no, I see my things, but I don't see an airdrop on the... Oh, yes, here it is. Yellow. I see. Okay, it's small. I haven't had a compass for 2 years. I love having a compass, actually. I really miss it. Whenever I have to do something, I have to figure out what my belief of true north is. But I usually do it on a beach, right? If you're on an island and you don't know which way north is, you just make it up, right? And you figure out, okay, well, here's my idea of what true north is. It's like the lighthouse. And so then I go east and west from the lighthouse for hours. And then once I know where north is and I know what south is and east and west, I can kind of figure out where my base is or where like my body is after I died. But more likely I'll probably scramble for 50 minutes straight with no map, no compass through foreign land with places I don't recognize, procedurally generated. Totally wandering around with no compass, no guidance whatsoever. This game doesn't do that to you. This game is so much nicer to you. Rust is like this terrible 50 Shades of Grey torture device that you do to yourself. What do they call those things? Iron Maidens, right? They're like spike chambers. They're meant to bleed you to death. That's Rust. Totally unnecessarily difficult for no reason. Worse than Mortal. Worse than this. And no compass, that was my idea. I went to the hardcore server. Okay, we pulled a pipe machine gun bundle, a crafting skill magazine bundle, armored up, and herbal antibiotics.
That sounds like okay stuff.
Sorry for talking so much, it's just this, fetch quest.
Yeah, there's not really much to do while you're running around like
know?
that.
So I figured I would entertain the stream, talking about how not having a compass is both a really enlightening experience that changes your fucking gaming life permanently. You don't ever get lost again, ever. I mean, you get lost, but you don't get, like... You can't ever not find your way. But it also sucks not having a compass. It's, like, really autistic. There's no reason to never not have a compass. I wouldn't ever do it in real life, you know? I've been riding on this broken leg for so long. 25 minutes. Birds, eggs, and zombie fights. You can tell it's time for bed when I start to ramble. I just start to ramble. That's what makes me a good streamer. You just go till you're exhausted. Sometimes, well, most times, 14 hours straight, right? Almost every day. And then you start rambling. About 8-10 hours in, you just start rambling. That's how you become a good streamer. Oh boy, so you said something earlier that I've just got to ask, right? So purportedly, Michael Obama was walking around with quite the bulge, correct?
And multiple occasions, multiple different photos, yes.
So it just begs the question. This is what a lawyer or like a judge would ask. Did this continue to happen or did it end? Is it a camel toe now?
There were periodic photos throughout the...
Yeah, is there... And so my next question is there fan sites on the internet with time-lapse photos of Michael Obama's crotch?
Maybe.
Inquiring minds need to know, you know? Does that exist? It's Rule 34. It probably exists, and it's probably naked, too. They probably photoshopped in junk, right? Like, pure junk. Like, no pants crotch. Like, no Hillary Clinton pantsuit crotch, right? They probably bring in a penis. They Photoshop the penis to her crotch, right?
I don't know. We're getting into territory where it's like, I wish that we didn't even have to think about this stuff.
I know. That's why I brought you there. I'm like, this is so unpleasant to me that I have to ask these terrible, just, you know... just dilemmas, just dilemma type questions. Like, did the camel toe begin or did the giant schlong end? Which chicken or egg here? Did she continue or did they continue?
I was like, the safe answer would be to refer to Michael Obama as Michelle Obama and she, because that's
Is it that the identify?
That is how the person identifies, and otherwise you're going to be accused of dead naming.
And I don't want to do that. That is not my intention here. I will say that's live and on stream. I have no intention to offend anybody here. I'm just marveling at the sheer, what's the word, oddity of it. And now we don't need to talk about the First Lady's transgender crotch any longer.
Right, so I'm gonna try to finally get off here, but if you want to stay on, I did queue up a steel
I'm going to bed
pickaxe.
like you. Fuck that. I'm logging now.
Well, the bench over... Oh, wait, let me read those books quick, if you just grabbed all the books.
I'm putting all of this in there. Hold on.
I got steel pickaxe, steel shovel, and steel axe on the workbench for you. There's crafting process right now.
Okay, all that loot is like in this lower box. Even if you want to look for magazines or anything, I don't know which one, which you don't.
Yep, just waiting to get in there.
I'll sort it when I get back in next time.
But yeah, so I would recommend you check out the steel pickaxe is ready right now.
I'm gonna dump all my loot into the dump box every time I log. That way you have access to it if you ever need it. Like the pistol's in there if you need it. For instance. That way I don't like kind of jack you by logging. Anything else before I log?
Did you grab your steel tools?
I dumped everything I had. I'm empty.
No, grab your steel
Grab my
tools.
steel tools from where? The bench?
Yeah, I told you.
I didn't.
The bench.
I grabbed a pick a long time ago.
Well, there's a steel pickaxe that I just made for you. There's
Oh,
a shovel
I
and
see.
an axe that are coming out too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize you made a new one. Cool.
Yeah, with a
Should
steel
I?
pickaxe, you can actually start mining properly.
Yay!
I would have.
Thank you. Well, then I will. I'll come in like tomorrow morning while you're working and stuff, and I will get you some
Yeah.
clay, some stone, and some wood each day. I probably won't play.
Yeah, I would say the two biggest priorities if you're just doing like AFK mining
Yeah, that's what I'm
would
looking
be
for.
coal and clay. So you know where some coal is?
Coal?
It's to
Yeah.
the west around those houses.
Yeah, and I can just dig clay outside, right?
Yeah, clay is specifically going to be the soft soil around the top. So
Is
like
there-
go find somewhere out in the woods where you're not going to impact us by making holes everywhere and just start
Okay.
digging around.
Sure. Is there any other way to min-max it? Is there any other tricks that I should know, or like places to
Well,
go? Or
If you can fit mods on them, fit mods on them.
Okay.
And then if you haven't, take the first point in those two strength perks because that'll vastly increase how much you can harvest.
okay, I've done that. So
Oh, nice!
Okay.
You've got the +1 stat bonus from your aura now.
I'm gonna put this bunker buster on this nice new steel pick. Thank you for all of this. This makes my job much easier.
Yeah, the steel tools are handy. When we eventually get an auger, that'll be neat. But when we get an auger, we're gonna have to start making runs to the desert for shale, because that's the problem. Is it eats up gas. Now it's worth it, and it'll let you get gas so fast, and then you'll be free to use it however you want for other shit. But you do have to start making gas runs after that point.
Yeah, I will. I'm interested in keeping a car running for both of us so I can AFK while you drive.
Yep. All right. Well, it's 9:10. I gotta go to work, so
All
I'll
right,
see you.
Baegon.
Catch you later.
Thank you for spending your day off with me. It was very fun. You have an excellent week if I don't see you.
Yeah,
And, when
nice.
are you free next? Like, when should I expect a session? Do you know?
I'll be on tomorrow, but not till like
Tomorrow.
after work.
I'll see you tomorrow night. You have a good night.
It's okay.
It is okay, but I mean, like, I don't know if the lies and the obfuscation and the shame and the hiding is okay. What does that do for trans? Everybody probably thinks I'm being anti-trans with this, but I argue it from the trans side. What does it do for trans pride? Not from the trans pride side, but I'm just going to argue the side of trans. What does it do to trans pride and trans, parency? Or whatever, like, just more like, I mean, I didn't really mean to say that, but what does it do to trans pride if, like, everybody has to hide all the time? I get why they hide. I don't blame them, but it's sad that they have that these poor people have to hide all the time. It sucks. I feel the same. I had to hide. Like, the reason that I have so much sympathy about it is I hid as a functional drug addict my entire life. Pretty much entire life from until I was 13. I'm sort of doing it now. I mean, I don't have to hide anymore because the fascist war on drugs is ending. But like, or not ending, but it's the best it's ever been. They're not like throwing me in jail 10 years, non, mandatory minimum on pot charges or anything like that. But like overall, like, I don't know, like I feel for trans pride especially. I feel the same thing with like drug addiction pride, and not pride, but like at least like not having shame about it, not having shame about your choices or whatever. I choose to be somebody who likes drugs. It's not something that ever happened to me in this way that I ever felt like I didn't have control over. I always definitely chose it, right? And so, like, I don't see how it's a good world if Michael Obama has to hide I don't see how that's good for anybody. And I think that's the world that we live in now. Is even somebody so famous as Michelle Obama might be trans and have to hide it. That's kind of tragic to me. But I also don't know if I believe it all, because I mean the word of somebody who isn't Michelle Obama is worthless to me. or Michelle Obama's doctor. Pretty much outside of those two people on the entire planet, I don't give a fuck what Joan Rivers has to say. It's just I don't see a lying face here. I don't see a lying face here.
Like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Good.
And I should do very well because I don't choke.
And do you think that the country will see
She
the
doesn't. She doesn't choke. She's always been grace under fire. She's the fucking definition of it.
first the United States
She was a big alcohol drug lady, I think, but she was
see the
definitely
first gay president or the first
Well,
woman
we already
president?
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a tramp.
She's wasted out on alcohol and what sounds like heroin to me. Not heroin, but opioids. You can hear the gravel in her voice from the opioids and the alcohol abuse and the rehab. And I don't know a lot about Joan Rivers. I don't really trust her, but I don't see a lie here.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender.
That's not.
We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does the...
She was so high that they used her for like a zeitgeist. Maybe that could be a possibility. But I also think that, like, or not high, but she was just so. I know because I've got it too. It's decay of your brain cells. It's like decay of it because you spend like years getting drunk and high instead of using them, and it's like the decay of your brain that makes them slur like that. That and all the connections misfiring in the cortex and the frontal lobe and all of our nervous system stuff. It's all nerve damage usually.
With the investigation
And this is just insane to me.
Joan Rivers' tragic
Thank
death.
you today for the excellent content from my stream. I've liked and sub to your
Oh, yeah.
channel. Thank you, Joan Rivers, for the excellent content from my channel. I've liked and sub to your channel. Thank you, James Palmer, for the excellent content from my stream. I've liked and sub to your channel. Thank you, Baegon, for all. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you, Baegon, for the excellent 15 and a half hour stream. It was a great double shift. Helped me flip my schedule here. I'm going to be going to bed here in about 45 minutes and we'll end the shift. I'm going to pause here for just a minute, guys, but just a reminder. Sorry, you probably can't see what I see. There you go. I will pause here. I'm going to turn off the fans that are in my house because it's starting to get cold and I don't want to freeze. I don't want to get sick like I did yesterday. I'm not sick, but freezing, you know. And this was a really good session. I believe I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday, and I'll begin to do that every night. I think I'm going to end the YouTube session here, and I'm going to go to bed at a normal adult hour because I do have a yard sale, an all-day yard sale coming up here in 6 days. That I need to get my schedule entirely in tune for because I have a revolving schedule that always changes. It's a non-24 conformative schedule. It's been like that since I went through puberty, and so I know that if I don't go to bed the next 4 days at like between 11 and 4 in the morning, I will not make it through that yard sale. I will just work I'll probably end up working a double. I do this all the time. I'll work a double because I'm stressed out because I have to do something in real life. Then I go do something in real life with no sleep. Then I come home exhausted. I crash out for 14 hours. And and at no point am I really happy in any of it because I'm just held in limbo. I can't do my job totally. I can't sleep well for a few days when I have anything at all. When I have like a doctor's appointment or like a family. I love my family and I love backing them. I've got no issue with helping them, but like they asked for help with the yard sale, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'd love to help you. I want the brownie points. I'd be very glad to help you. Yeah, I love committing and I love helping them, but it doesn't change the fact that I live in fear, like the kind of fear that I would say would be described as a phobia. I live in fear as long as I know that is coming. It sits in the back of my mind, and I know that I've got to completely change my sleep schedule. I've got to completely change how I'm doing my week. I've got to completely change how I do my job. I've got to go do something that I generally don't want to do. I just want to get it always feels vacuous to me to help people anymore because it feels really good and it always makes me feel really good. But it also feels like all I ever get is brownie points, and it also is like and those brownie points are owed. So then now, and it sucks because it's like if I had the druthers, I would not make the commitments to anybody. The only reason I'm still alive, there was this period when I was in the madhouse where I didn't make it. I made it like 14 months or something like that. and then I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I like, they've killed my native land, my job's illegal, the government's corrupt, COVID has killed us, like, you know, all this other stuff. And so then I began to realize that, like, no matter what, if there's a commitment in the next week or two, I pretty much live in fear. It's like a phobia. It's not that I mind going out or going to the doctor. I don't care about any of this stuff. I actually like going to the dentist. I like going to the doctor. I like taking care of myself. I like going outside. I like doing things in real life. I like all of those things. What I don't like is trying to sync a non-conformative, non-24-hour conformative schedule to something that is a conformative schedule. It's fucking impossible. It destroys my work. It destroys my ability to think. It destroys my ability to sleep. And so it's not. And so knowing that the yard sale's coming in like 6 days or something like that, and I like the yard sale. It's the weirdest, shittiest trip. It's not this laziness. Well, it is lazy. It's lazy. Lazy's at the core of it. But what it really is it's like this discomfort with ever doing anything ever that isn't trying to somehow dig myself out of the black hole that they built out of this world that sucked me in and made nothing of my life. It's like constantly I feel like I need to be on the front lines in some game, or on the front line on some stream, or delivering in front of the stream, or building some concept or some group or some raid or some idea or some goal, doing something all the time. The minute that I have some kind of real life fucking commitment at all, it screws up my sleep schedule. It screws up my plans. It screws up my ability to relax for like an entire fucking week. I can't ever forget that something's coming. In the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I can't totally ever relax because I have some fucking commitment for brownie points that I want but I don't want to work for shit that I don't want to do, for a schedule that I can't keep that takes me, it's like for whatever it is, if it's the DMV, if it's the grocery store, it only ever takes, or even helping the family or any of that stuff, right? Or going to town, or getting CBD, or getting alcohol, or going down the train tracks. The other day I walked the train tracks for 7 miles, 3.5 each way, you know? And like in all that stuff, and whatever it is, I like going out and I like having an active life, but I am the opposite of humanity. I think all of them are sitting there waiting for something to fucking happen. I think all of them are fucking bored. I think all of them live normal 9 to 5, and almost not all of them, but they live either night lifestyles or they live day lifestyles. But they generally have the same sort of thing where they're like 12 on and 12 off. I am so fucking different from that, and I really wish I wasn't, but it is a battle. You can see how I throw together 2 16-hour shifts in a 3-day period. Like it's not even there. Like it's not even a problem or anything like that. But you want to know why it's like that? My fucking brain chemistry is so fucking chopped up and screwed around. I didn't even know this till I was like 37 either. I had to be taught. I had to go see professionals who had to teach me how it was manifesting, what to do, tactics and triggers, and what my problems are and how to identify them and all this other stuff. And I had to do all these classes and all this like case planning and therapy and psychiatry and stuff to even get through all of this, because my life is not normal. And it's not like that I don't want it that way. It's not that way naturally. It's some kind of chemical imbalance or something like that. I always give way like 10 times the amount of energy I should ever give. I don't ever stop talking. I got the motor mouth. I'll go all my fucking life. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll just keep on going. It doesn't matter. And I'm fundamentally like broken. I'm like this broken, spun out machine. Spun out machine. Like a dreidel that never stops spinning. Or a fucking random number generator that never actually arrives at a number. It just keeps fucking rolling. It just keeps rolling numbers till it figures out that it wants to decide to figure out a number to land on or something. It's like my brain's like an RNG random number generator. It's so fucking annoying to try to go around normal people who work a normal schedule. Not that I don't like it, but I like it, but it is also annoying to me, because then I'm like, well, okay, normal to me is like a 14-hour day. To them, it's 8. Normal to me is sleeping 12 hours. To them, it's 8. Normal to me is waking up at 6 a.m. one day, 6 p.m. another. That to them, it's pretty much 6 a.m. every day, or some variation of that, 9 a.m. every day, 10 a.m. every day, something like that. I have never naturally ever woke up in the morning It's like I did before puberty, but past puberty, my brain wiring fucking switched or something like that. And I also had Hashimoto's all my life, and I didn't know. And I had and I developed a gluten allergy later. And when you combine it all, like I took like nerve damage, I had a nasty concussion that caused brain damage and all this. And when you combine all of it, you get this crazy fucking runaway shark that'll dive and never stop swimming, that really doesn't want any, and I'll be fucking honest about it, and I'll keep saying it until the world pretty much finally does validate it and understand that I am on disability for Asperger's, and I should rightfully be so. And there was a lot of goddamn considerations that we had to make about my life, and we didn't even know what it was until I was like 30. I mean, my mother knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was until I was like 35 and shit. So now I work on my problems. I try to sleep at a normal time. I try to flip my schedule if it's totally out of whack. Try to be up on the days that they need me. Try to be there, something normal. Try not to be too loud or abrasive. Try not to be motor mouth all fucking day. There's all these rules and shit that I try to, like what they tell you about OCD is that most of those people that are allowed to have, well, not allowed, but not allowed at all, but like are able to still function well enough with massive OCD, that not massive but just strong OCD that totally dictates everything that you do. Like, that's kind of how my life is with my schedule and my gaming and my obsessions and my sleep schedule and my whims and my inner circadian rhythm is like pretty much, I can tell you what it is. Since I was like 14 years old, everybody thought I was going through a teenage rebellion, but what it really was that I was totally out of circadian rhythm with everybody else around me, from my schoolmates to my family to my best friends to the girlfriends that I had to my band. My circadian rhythm was always fucking crazy different. And I would say almost all of my best friends were the same. They were all Asperger's, I'd say. They were all like north of genius almost, or close to it. They were like, they were like interesting people with crazy schedules that didn't conform, jobs that didn't conform, people and time and money that didn't conform, political leanings that didn't conform. Most of my friends don't even conform to a fucking gender. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, not gender, but like a gender orientation, really. I do, but they don't. And like, honestly, and it's weird, and so now I think like, it's weird. I have to have this positive battle where I tell myself, I want to be there. I want to be there all day with my friend for 16 hours. I really want to be there. I do. I like there's no doubts, no grain of sand, nothing. Like, there's literally like 110% positive feelings. Like, I want to be there for my best friends, for my friend Baegon, for my family, for everybody. I want to fucking be there, right? But it doesn't change. Here, I'm getting to the fucking core of what I'm trying to say here. It's like the self-epiphany, call to action shit about my own problems and my own life and stuff, right? Is that, like, I make the concessions, but I don't want to make the concessions. And it sucks because my entire life, I pretty much made the concessions to them. Almost entirely. And it's weird because they would absolutely let me shit skate out of it if I wanted to. No problems, no guilt trips, nothing. They'd be totally cool with me. It's not about that. It's about the conformity of anything at all. I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want a marriage. I don't want a house. I don't want property. I don't want video games. I don't want computer. I don't want my body. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I don't want to sleep. I don't want to admit that I have to do those things. That's weakness to me. I do those things when they force me to do those things. I am a shark that never stops fucking like swimming, that really should keep swimming all the fucking time. But I was raised as this gentle giant man who's never harmed a living thing. But I have the Mako shark reactor blood in me that'll jump out of fucking airplanes and rob banks and, fucking kill presidents and, slay fucking topple dictators and, slay the Spire and all this stuff and, res the Tower of Babel and bring the heavens crashing down around me and all these other crazy things about my personality. But where I really don't do well is if anybody else needs me to do anything else at all. I don't want them to ask me to sort. I don't want them to ask me for help. I mean, I want them to because I love them and I really want to back them and be there in their lives like they've been for me. And they always get me out of shitty situations. And I just live in their lives as the house cat, right? And I long for this. I long with all my heart and soul, every last bit of it. I really long for this day where maybe, just maybe, like I can find this place where I'm normal like them, and I don't have to live in fear for 7 days over a minor appointment or something like that. Because, you know, I'll tell you why I live in fear of a minor appointment. It's not because I'm a video game addict or that I stay inside all the time, because I don't. I go outside all the time. Today I went outside a lot. And, like, you know, and, like, or sorry, not today, but yesterday. Today I did a 16-hour shift today, but yesterday when I was out a lot, I did a lot of work yesterday, actually. And, for my standards anyway, a lot of work. And I would say that, like, my issue with it is I never really, I remember asking for help when I was desperate because of the systems and the problems and the things that I can't control, like them making a drug war, or them making being a professional video game player impossible to make any money, or them making it making it technically illegal to sell online currency without getting your PayPal account banned, like Amaranth, right? For selling bathwater or something like that, right? All these other things. Like, it felt like the government was fighting me on ever making $1 doing what it is for a living. My band was fighting me because music is always in flux, and we could have never settled down to one genre ever. And I kind of wanted to sing grunge and punk only, and they wouldn't discipline set down to one music genre. They dragged me through 40. And I could do it all. I can sing country, I can sing rap, I can sing fucking grunge, pop, you know, whatever it is, blues trap, fucking, you know, whatever it is, like, you know, alternative, indie, punk, metal, heavy metal, deep metal, growl, screamo. It doesn't matter what it is. I was into all of it, and one of the reasons I was into all of it is because of my own taste, primarily, but also because I was required by my best friends and all my crew and everybody that I knew to never have a style, never have a predictability, never be a fucking, never be predictable, ever. Never worry about aesthetics, never worry about money, never ever be someplace where you can be found, never ever, you know, like all these weird rules having to do with, like, never making commitments to people that aren't bettering yourself. Because if you can't better yourself ever, and I do not believe I ever did or ever will better myself, the barriers were there. You'll watch me clock. I really believe this fundamentally with all my heart. I believe I will reach 300,000 hours of very high quality content like this before I ever make $10,000. I believe I will reach 300,000 hours of content like this. Solid co-op, solid video, solid games, 10 different games every week, good content, watching all the content, doing React, I'm singing, I'm doing, you know, Fortnite with the kids, I'm doing boomer shooters with the oldies, I'm doing, you know, survival with the survival cutting edge kids who are doing, like, that shit live and in real time. They're not doing Google, they're doing, like, their own shit, you know, they're learning on their own and all this stuff. And I'm like an innovator, right? And so the one thing that they require from me is some kind of conversation, but I don't want it. I do. I want to talk to them. I do. But I don't want a conversation about anything that has to do with me at all. I don't want to be asked for things. I don't want to go do things that aren't for me. I don't want to help other people. You could call this selfish, because it is. It's the most selfish you'll ever fucking hear. I don't want to see, do, think, or be around humanity for something like 20 years. I'm a misanthrope. I dislike humanity. I said it tonight, but I realize it's not totally that I dislike humanity. It is that I am wary of them. And wary, I think of as in both the combination of the word wary, like W-A-R-Y, but I'm also weary of them, as in I'm tired of them and I need a break, you know? I need a fucking break. So then, like, you know, I look at the commitments and I'm like, okay, well, I need this for family. That's commitment I can't get out of. I'm doing it. I got the stream. That's commitment I can't get out of. I'm doing it. I got the friendships. Those are things I get out of. I can't. You know, I'm not getting out of it. I'm doing it. And all this other stuff. But sooner or later, there one or two things that's gonna happen. Everybody in my life will be gone from either death or leaving me, which is happening, right? or humanity will have to accept that I will sooner or later need to be acknowledged as a human being here who needs to make a dollar and needs to have a love life and needs to have a government affiliation and needs to have a home and needs to have stability and no commitments so I can get better and not be some fucking stooge in the fucking debacle that was the disaster that is the human race. And I feel like a stooge all the time in the way that I do things for other people, but I almost never ask them for anything unless I'm desperately sick or desperately in trouble because of the systems that I am desperately trying to leave and not be part of. And it has made me soul sick. And scratching my way back to the top will consist of clawing my way out of the fucking pit like Batman in Batman Dark in the third movie where he's trapped in the fucking asylum, and you begin to realize that Christopher Nolan really wants to make this metaphor about getting out of that fucking pit in the third Batman movie, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm scratching my way out of that fucking pit. They think it's success. Fuck success. I could give a flying fuck about a goddamn dollar. I want their commitments out of my fucking life. They weren't good for me. None of it was. None of it was. I'm your absent-minded professor that does well with about 6 friends, 1 girlfriend, like I'd see them all maybe once a week or something, who gets 6 days to themselves to just fuck off into a nether realm that is so far from politics, sex, humans, war, climate change, money, music, time, love, whatever the fuck. I spend most of my life avoiding all of the commitments of all of those things, because every time I chased any of those things, anytime I chased any of it at all, I was essentially shut down, threatened with jail. I was threatened with murder. I was threatened with pariah, cast out into the streets, left to fend, or no one gets left behind kind of thing, right? Like that's what happened most of the time. Anytime I tried to be myself, I was just left to fend. Now my mother never did this. She's not guilty. She's the only one in the world. But everybody else I ever knew was guilty of it. They all wanted things from me. That's the state. That's the state of humanity. That is the state of humanity as we are right now. They all wanted things from me. The only thing I want from them is to be happy with me when I occasionally see them, like once a week. I don't want to move their houses. I don't really want to be in their lives. I don't want to help them. I don't want to give them my time, and I don't want to take theirs. The only time I ever asked them for anything past the age of like 27 or something, past the suicide attempt, I was like, well, I'm in this on my own. I am. And I wasn't. I had my mother and all these other people backing me and shit. But I mean, like, the reality is like they weren't in the room with me for like 7 years while I recovered from that. I had to do that recovery myself. And I did so. I mean, they were in the room with me. A lot of it, they were in the room with me. But I mean, I had to do the recovery myself. And part of the recovery is understanding this never-ending battle between never wanting a fucking commitment of any kind, not even the normal ones. Like, boy, a girlfriend sounds nice. It would be nice to passionately kiss a girl. It's been, oh God, 2.5 or 3 years now or something. It'd be really nice to passionately kiss a girl in an embrace. But then I think of, well, that would mean ending my 105-hour schedule that I have kept now for a solid 5 years or something like that. 105 fucking hour schedule. Some of it was like when I was a drug dealer. I have kept like a 10 to 14 hour day schedule now for 6 or 7 years. I think it is like 5 or 6. I think it is like 5 or 6. I think. It's like 5 or 6. It's been 5 since I left the madhouse in 22, and then about 2 years before that. So it's been 4.5 years. It's been 4.5 years, I think, since 2020. And the only reason I talk about all this is like I would say that an interesting question that came up tonight is what is the reason that we're all here? I keep thinking about that. Now I think it's to serve others. I think the whole I kept flippantly tossing out procreation and probably, like, frankly, like exacerbating my friend, because I just kept tossing out procreation because I think it's a dumb question to try and define why any living thing is actually alive. I think it's like a dumb question. It's not a question that needs an answer, frankly. It's it's kind of weird. So like my answer to it is doing things that I want to do. I think everything will be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end. And like, so it's like doing things that I want to do is why I'm here on the earth. And pretty much my experience with mankind since I was like 15 years old or some such is no, you can't do video games all the time. I ask why, and they say you just can't. You have to do the real life. Money and food have to come from somewhere. And I'm like, well, but I've always managed. Somehow I managed. Remember Michael Scott? He said somehow I managed. His book that he wrote was called Somehow I Managed. I cracked up like so laughed at that one because I was like, yeah, that's my Bible is the book that Michael Scott wrote called Somehow I Manage, because pretty much since like pretty much birth I felt like every single card in the deck was stacked against me except for my race. Essentially that was it. That was like the only thing that I would say was like of benefit. The Asperger's were not a benefit. I don't really feel that me being this big was a benefit. I'm like 6'4" and I'm fit like a fucking bouncer, and I really didn't use it. I never did do a sport. The only sport I ever actively pursued was skateboarding, which honestly being big doesn't help you. I always wish I was like half the size, and you know, like my best friends and stuff who were like really skinny, like elves, you know. I've never been like that. I've always been fucking big since I was like 8, you know. And so I dream of all these things that I can't have, like a normal body, a normal life, a normal love relationship that isn't jaded by drugs or money or me being poor or something fucked up or me working all the time or me just, you know, or it's always me. It's usually me. I would imagine probably my relationships ending were probably all me, except for the one where the guy just decided to threaten to kill my girlfriend for no reason. That wasn't my fault. But I'm sure I brought him into her life, so you can say that it is my fault. It's all my fault somehow. But eventually, you get so used to the stacked fucking deck past the age of, like, the attempted suicide of 27, when I hit Saturn Returns at the age of 27, something like that. And I failed the attempted suicide. Not that I'm proud about it, but it was a period of my life. And I thought, oh, well, there's just another thing that I can't control that isn't in my... I needed control over something in my life besides the games and my home. You know, I didn't have a home till I was 39. Though I had a home, but I didn't have like a home past the age of like 18 or something like that till I was like 39. I couch surfed and apartment surfed, or like failed out pretty much, or like lived off other people or whatever for like, I don't know, 13 years or something, right? And it wasn't a good trip. You know, I feel that the only reason why I'm not the best motherfucker on the planet like Jimmy Donaldson or whatever, the only reason, right, is that pretty much every time I ever hit a barrier, if there was some commitment to it, I said no. From graduating high school to remaining not a felon or anything. I mean, I'm not a felon, but I mean, I caught 7 felonies or something. I just fought them all and got them all busted down. But I mean, they attempted to convict me for like 7 felonies and like 28 petty charges, you know? Or say it's less than that. It's like 21 petty charges or something. When I saw my rap sheet, it was an existential nightmare. I saw it in like 2020. I had never seen my rap sheet before. We had to seal a record, so we got all of the rap sheets from all of the counties, and I took a look, and I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. It speaks of this thing where I'm desperate all the time to live somewhere or shoplift or do something to get by all the time. Like steal something or get information or do something to get up off the streets, or at least stay alive if I'm on the streets. And so all the time, all the time I think about this. I'm like, all the time I saw a barrier when I was born, when I got Asperger's. I saw a barrier when I was in school, when I was around people that I didn't so respect because I felt they were using stockpiling of money to destroy my community. Even at a young age, I felt that the disparity between the rich and the poor was something that made it impossible for me to like rich people. Like, impossible. Because I consider stockpile essentially evil if it isn't food and water for winter, you know? I consider it evil. Like, resources are almost always perishable, which means they rust and decay, and they just disappear and fade to obscurity and dust, and they fall to disrepair, and you constantly have to do upkeep and keep it all running, and it gets covered in dust and cobwebs and spiders as age pass by, and you can't use that item, because you can't possibly use any item all the time, you know? So eventually, whatever possessions you have, I think are constrained to your shelves, and they gather dust. And this was something that I rebelled against when I was very young. I was like, I don't think I want to follow possessions or money my whole life. I don't want to follow a career my whole life because I think I want to do like 50 different things. I knew when I was 11 that I was going to be playing Super Nintendo or some version of it all of my life as a mainstay. I'm talking mainstay, right? I knew this when I was no, it was earlier. The day I picked up Duck Hunt, I told everybody this all my life, but everybody just made fun of me, or my mother would start to cry and stuff. But I said, the day that I picked up the duck hunt gun and fired at a duck, I knew I was going to be playing video games every day for the rest of my life, whether they told me to or not, whether they permitted me to or not. To me, I consider it to be, you know, an inalienable right. To take me away from it would be like, you know, taking my oxygen away or something like that, right? But yet it was like that all of my life. There was constantly like parents or teachers or friends or time or commitments or a band or college or something, girlfriends or working or money or being a drug dealer or taxi driver or being a streamer. Something always took me away from making any real success out here, and I don't want the success too. I just want the success to buy me out of the commitments. If someone were to say, okay, if Jimmy Donaldson were to step to my stream and be like, I believe in you as a streamer, here's $50 million like Ninja, let's see what you do with it, right? The first thing I would do is give the $50 million away completely, and I would try to erase every last fucking commitment that I have, from paying rent to I want endless source of water. I want an endless source of food that renews itself, not workers. An endless source of food that renews itself. I don't even know if that's possible. I don't think it is. I think I'd have to fucking hire thresher robots or something. I don't think that's fucking possible. So right there you can see that the possibility of getting away from food and water and not having it take up my mind, my space, or my time any longer, just like sleep, is impossible. You know, I tried. I tried all my life. I tried all my life to use methamphetamine to kill sleep out of my life just so I could keep doing more video games. I tried to do more food and water. Like, there were times when I tried to pretend that I was like a rock star, or that I was a writer, or that I was like, you know, a lover boy, or a romantic poet, or a drug dealer, or, you know, whatever. I just would don different hats like a good little actor. Anything to keep the humans the fuck away from me so I can do what I'm actually here that I'm supposed to do. So there's no commitments, nothing at all. And so since I was like 27, I know when this happened, since my suicide attempt, when I was 27 in the Saturn Returns era, like right after, like I realized that, like, you want to know what really fucked me up the worst out of all of this stuff? There was this period when I was 27, and I figured out what the Saturn Returns actually was. Or is it Jupiter Returns? I think it's either Saturn or Jupiter. I think it's Saturn Returns, right? I think it's Saturn Returns. Like, everybody, when they're 27, feels this terrible angst, like that they're not syncing synchronicity with humanity. Almost everybody feels this, and we don't know what it is, but it kills rock stars. They tend to overdose or suicide. People who are AAA or high personality or X Factor, that kind of thing. Actors, entertainers, you know, like big go-getters and such, X Factor people, they tend to... like, you know, they tend to be very rigid. I am not rigid. I don't do details. I don't like details. I don't do boxes. I don't do sorting. I don't do collecting. I don't do OCD. I don't do schedules. I don't do food. I don't do eating, really. I don't do money. I don't do water. I don't drink unless I have to. I don't sleep unless I have to. Like, all these things that are so normal to all the monkeys out there are like this distant fucking ship mark on the fucking horizon from my reality all of my life. And all of my life I can see him out there waving at me and flaming fire signals and smoke into the air to get me to be able to home in on their ship and sail to any port in the storm and come rejoin humanity. But no, I really would like to be left alone except for the commitments that I choose. And I have not made a commitment since I was... The last commitment that I made was my second girlfriend. That was the last time I was in a long term. No, I'm sorry. I've been in 3 long terms. The third one, we couldn't ever label it that, but we were together, sleeping in the same bed for 10 months, you know, and living in the same house for 10 months, you know, and, you know, fucking and all that stuff. Not really, but I mean, like, you know, like a lover's relationship on a almost like a halcyonic, you know, like kind of laconic, you know, way. But like, you know, but I like commitment, but even I like commitment when it comes to a love relationship. But that is it. That is the only fucking commitment that I ever wanted. And this is the reason that I have no more friends, right? I have no friends. And I am not ashamed of this fact. I will not cry about it or act like, you know, that's a shame to me or anything like that, that I lost the human race. Every day that I get further from them, you can see it. I get skinnier, I get happier, I get more content, more ideas, more people, more games, more success, more money on the stream, all this stuff. I just start like kind of multiplying and elevating and motivating and doing my job as a human being. I always thought my job was to be like a catalytic converter, right? I'm a generator that is also a catalyst. I'm like a catalytic converter. I go around people. I bring them to some ideal or something, and I try to beat the drums to get them to fucking dance to my beat long enough to get them to see my point of view, which is that I don't know what the answers are, but I know that focusing on everything, like where's my next meal going to come from? Where am I going to have a home next month? Where am I going to pay? How am I going to pay the bills? I know that I know that how I am making it through this is the only time I started to see any success or any gain or any growth or anything at all, right? I began to realize that I was foregoing any sort of commitment, and I was just slowly, by hook or crook, slowly working money out of my life, faith, food, doctors, bad health, cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, methamphetamine, heroin, politics, loss, sorrow, depression, anger, all these things that I just didn't want to make commitments to, things that I just wanted to statically out of my life. And I believe most people would say that I'm in a healing phase and that I need to be away from people. But that is impossible with my current commitments. I love my friends. I just went to visit them this summer. I love my ex-girlfriend. I try to write her every single day. I don't care if it goes anywhere ever. That was it for me. That was the commitment. I think my heart will never go to another anymore. I think that was it. I think when I learned how bad it was when I lost her, I just was like, I cannot do this again. I do not have the wherewithal after the PTSD and the man trying to kill me and the drug addictions and the 10 years threat of jail hanging over my head for 4 years and the time in the madhouse and all the bad problems and the man who tried to kill me and put him in jail for 2 years, so he's gunning for me. He could show up at my door any day and shoot me in the face, and I live that reality every day. I think, well, it doesn't matter who stalks me or treats me bad or tries to kill me or call me something or make me get canceled or anything like that, right? Because it doesn't matter. They've been trying to do that to me all of my adult life. They try to cancel me when I identified as a gamer. They try to cancel me when I identified as a punker. They try to cancel me as I identified as, like, you know, like somebody who didn't like his own race. They did all these other things. They tried to essentially, like, just write me out. They were like, okay, well, if you won't make the commitments of taking, like, a lover all the time, taking a job all the time, taking a family all the time, taking food and meals and structure and schedules all the fucking time. It just sounds like some kind of train spotting nightmare. And I can hear Ewan McGregor speaking like Irvine Welsh. And Irvine Welsh is the one that taught me how to think this way. When I was young, I read the entirety of everything Irvine Welsh wrote, including Train Spotting, and that's where I got this from. I broke out of this shitty mold. I don't feel that I need to do anything. You'd be surprised that the day that I stopped trying, you know, self-help sings say, do nothing. And he was absolutely right. All my life, right? I ate too much. I slept too much. I wouldn't leave school. I wouldn't go to school. I wouldn't I wouldn't stop doing video games. I wouldn't ever start doing anything real. I wouldn't stop doing my band. They had to do it. I wouldn't stop doing the music. I wouldn't stop singing. I wouldn't stop playing games. I wouldn't stop raiding. Whatever I picked up, I would just take that new obsession and I would just take it to the fore, and I wouldn't stop. And then the minute that it started to feel like a commitment to be in that area, I would just leave. The minute that it starts to look familiar, something is wrong, right? And I've lived on this instinct since 2015 now. I remember when it happened. It was the middle of Legion, and I remember thinking, this game has died, and along with it, so is my covenant with humanity. My last connection that was making it like good enough for me to still want to be around people was raiding. I think that I feel the same way I imagine Baegon probably feels the same exact way. I think the last time we felt a real connection beyond our lovers or whatever, like our girlfriends or wives. He had 2 wives. I had 7 girlfriends, you know. And besides the girlfriends and the wives and stuff, I think both of us were willing to make commitments like that and stuff. But beyond that, like the only commitment I was ever willing to make is the same sort of thing you hear out of like astronauts or whatever. It's the same fucking crazy, shitty, like complete fucking crusade. It's just zealotry. It's something I've never respected in human beings, right? But it's like I chase the zealot dream of being like not the best gamer on the planet, just the one with the most accolades or whatever, the most games, the most not the most achievements, but like the most hours clocked, the most people talked to, the most lands explored, the most consoles, you know, like conquered, the most games conquered, etc. And I can't chart that career lasts. Like the internet wasn't even there for the first 13 years of that, when I played Game Boy all the way through to PlayStation 1, right? Game Boy all the way through to PlayStation 1 was like what an American boy will say, right? Is when they got started in gaming. And from Game Boy all the way through to the PlayStation 1, which by the way is 5 generations. That's like 17 years or something like that, right? We didn't have internet from 1994 till 2007 or something like that. We didn't have online gaming. So whatever that is, it's like 13 fucking years or something like that, right? So I mean, we did have online gaming in 2003, but only for like the first 4 years or whatever, right? So it's like sort of weird why I get off on all this. I keep looking at like ways of shirking my communities without causing death of my family or loss of my friendships. Or maybe like persecution from my government for hating them and calling for revolution, or not believing in any of it, not from the lobby to the politics to the food prices to the oil prices to the rent to the fucking bullshit that scam that they turned this world into, and overcharged everything from the dope and the alcohol all the way on up to the skyscrapers. They charge 10 times what everything is worth. And that's another, you know, break of the covenant with me. The humanity doesn't know how to do money or free trade. They don't know how to do love, really. My worst problem, I said, okay, I can tell you what my biggest regret in my entire life is now. And I'm dead serious about this, right? I know I don't have anything to show you, so I'm just going to show you my fucking name and my soul, right? The only regret, I have 2 regrets in my life, and one of them I don't have anymore because I fessed up and I told the lie that I carried for 10 years, which is I stole a couple of hits of acid from my friend Jed Gallagher one time, and it wrecked me for 10 years. It turned me into such a piece of shit from stealing from a friend. It's always the simple things of harming the people closest to you that really hurt you. And I fessed this one out 10 years later, and I told him, and he was like, "Forget it, it's fine. I didn't care about that. I knew you did it, but I was mad, but I didn't hold the grudge. I didn't hate you. Or you're a good friend. You've always been a good friend. You never failed me or anything. You know, it was the worst thing you've ever done to me, and it was $10 worth of acid. It's not worth crying over or anything like that. But I did. I took it so bad. I cried for like an hour. I couldn't handle it. I always cry to him because I always feel guilty when I'm around him because I just don't live a good pious life like him. I didn't. He didn't either, but he did for most of his life. I didn't live it for like 20 years or something like that. And so now I'm in this like place where it's like we've broken all the covenants and all this, and I need some reason to if I'm gonna be here and do this for people, if I'm gonna entertain them and build a dream and try to unite the parties and do all the crazy things that I want to do, maybe even spark a revolution or topple the crown and get these dinosaurs out of here, something like that. I don't know what it is. I don't want violence. I just want change, and I wanted change so bad that when I was 13 years old, I named my main character Catalista after my favorite character of all time, Fifth Chivalry Farseer. The Catalyst was his title. He was the changer, the seeker, the catalyst. So I named myself Catalyst because I knew I knew at the age of 13 that I was straight, and I really didn't want to stare at man ass all day. So I rolled female characters. I rolled a male character when I first played Final Fantasy 11. And I was like, I really feel gay staring at a male's ass all day long. I do. I feel really weird doing it. I don't like man ass. I don't like men. I don't want to watch a man's ass all day long for 13 hours a day. I don't want to do that. It really fucking bothers me. I don't like the male figure. It's not something that, it's quite the opposite. I don't like the way men look. They look scary to me. And so, like, whatever, like, so I, and even back then, I knew this was the universe that reached out to me and given me a lifeline, and it was video games and love and music, right? And so, but pursuing these things, so I immediately became a lead singer. I dedicated to being the world's best priest in the world, the world's best raider. I wasn't, but I got there. I got there briefly for a couple of weeks, but I remained there for a couple of weeks, and then it ended. And I tried like hell to get there, and I lost everybody that I burned to get there. And by burn, I mean I formed a 500-man organization. I didn't form it, but I reformed it. And I took them to Heroic Ragnaros in 10-man and 25-man, and then we pushed for 7 weeks, and then I had a mental breakdown, and I never did that again because it felt like, it was always helping other people, it all this other stuff. But where I'm getting with this is like, the bottom line is I felt like I was attacked all of my life. I felt like all I ever did was satisfy the commitments and whims and requirements of others. And when I ask for something, I get it. So I'm not complaining, right? When I ask for a computer, I get it. When I ask the universe for a girlfriend, I get it. When I ask for peace, I get it in my own life. I don't get it in the world, but I get it in my own life. And when I ask for a home, I get it. And I don't often ask for those things because I don't believe I fundamentally deserve those things, because I have never been given the chance to show humanity who I actually am. And I don't know what that is. And this is what the streamers talk about like unlocking your potential and all that, right? It's not that I want to make $1 billion. That is quite the opposite. I don't give two shits about $1. I really don't. It's that I need the validation that I did something that wasn't cock-blocked by the sheer amount of people that are on this planet. You ever considered how really fucking hard it is to be Ninja? You got to go up against 3.5 billion people or something like that. How many people play Fortnite? It's like 270 million. To be in the top 100 in Fortnite of 270 million. And you understand what that's like, right? When you're at the top 100, the other 270 million are all plotting your demise. Every last one of them wants you to fail. Absolutely. Ask Ninja, he'll tell you. Every last one of the 270 other Fortnite players that aren't Ninja or Cypher PK or any of these other people, right? Or Dr. Disrespect or whatever. Whoever's good in the scene, I don't know. I don't track that shit, right? But it's my skill ceiling is the best in the world at Fortnite. That's my skill ceiling. The only thing harder than that is the best in the world at Rust. But why would you ever want to be the best in the world at Rust? I mean, that would make you a target for like 50 16-man clans that would just move in on your front lawn all day and just tackle you and harass you all day and make it impossible for you to do anything. And I learned this from Russ too. Russ taught me that you can't get famous and continue to be a truly non-consensual PvP streamer because the whole world just guns for you. That's what Ninja will never say, because it insults the people who made him rich. But I mean, it is the truth. Like those people made him who he was, but like they're out to take him down. They're not there to support him. They're there to take him down and prove to the world that they're better than him. I'm out to prove to the world that I'm better than him. Everybody else in the world is too. Now, this is the thing at the top that they never tell you, is it's lonely up there and everybody's firing spitwads on you while you try to balance on a single fucking pole the size of a quarter. It's exactly like that movie, Kung Pao, right? You're standing on a pole. Steve Odenkirk is standing on a pole while they shoot spit wads at you. And one little spit wad will cause you to fall. That's what it's like to be at the top, right? So I didn't go to the top to try to get that. I tried to go to get to the top so I wouldn't have to. Like, I wouldn't have to worry about working. I wouldn't have to worry about drinking. I wouldn't have to worry about eating or paying rent or explaining to the world how I have Asperger's or that I can't stand humans, but I love them and I want to be around them all the time, but I can't stand them and I can't stand the commitments. And I think about commitments, and when I have them, it takes weeks to get through them, and the night before, I'll often work a double and then sleep a double, just so I can go do an hour-long appointment, because the interruption is so goddamn unwelcome, so unwelcome, that it goes against the fucking fiber of my being. It makes me mortally angry every single fucking time I have to do something that isn't like trying to find some validation for spending 40 years here. And as it was, I did try to get off when I was 27. I tried to leave. I was like, nope, this place isn't worth it. Fucking bye. They killed my native Colorado land, and they killed the city that I grew up in, and they charged until the mountain home was filled with gold, and then they kicked us all out of it and burned the town. It was exactly like, I mean, that's all parable. It's all Nibelung, the Ring of the Nibelungen, right? That's exactly what happened to me in Denver, right? And so now I'm out here trying to fucking save my city, save my state, save my country, save my soul, save my girlfriend, save my life, save my love, save my family, save my people, save myself from their commitments so I can just do this. I think every time they try to tie you down again, it's just another fucking nail in the coffin now. And it sucks. Like, this is what all the superstars say, but the more commitments that you take when you're trying to save the fucking world, one single video game jump at a time, one single spacebar tap at a time, like, you know, one single spacebar tap at a time. I don't know how I'm going to save the world, but I'm going to try and do it by tapping this spacebar every time I jump. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's something like that. It's going to take 50 billion spacebar presses for me to save the world, but I'm going to continue to fucking try. What I know is that high school didn't work. It got in the way. Friendships didn't really work. They got in the way. Family didn't really work. It got in the way. I love them, and I don't want them away. I need them, and I don't want them to go anywhere. But they got in the way. All of it got in the way. The only thing that didn't get in the way was drugs and video games. And if I'm not doing those, I'm wrong. And I'm in this place now where I'm in it, mature enough, socially and adept enough, like third eye open enough, totally in the right proper place of my mind and my time and my life. I don't feel depression or sadness. I feel sorrow, and only that because we've been victimized, you know. So, you know, look at what happened to this country in the last 10 years. It's not so good. So, you know, I feel some sorrow because I can't go and, you know, fix this for my fellow Americans. I don't know what to do, but I will talk about it. And I will tell you what my barriers are. I will tell you why I don't want you in my chat talking to me. I will tell you why I don't want my family talking to me. I don't want to do anything for them. I don't want to do anything for anybody. And understand, that makes me, like, literally, even Louis the 14th wasn't that selfish, right? But my vibe isn't that I want to spend all day on me. My vibe is that I want to save them. I can't do that if they set a barrier in front of every single fucking thing I ever fucking did. There was a barrier every single time I ever chased a dream. A bad one, like a wall of fucking shadows every fucking time I try to swing a sword. You know what I'm saying? Is this my fault? Yeah, particularly because I don't want to work with them. I think if I work with them, I become them. If I become them, I can't save them. So I wanted my own video game job that paid me my own unlimited money. And it does pay unlimited money. Look at what gold sells for World of Warcraft. Look at what, I mean, what is it? It's like $25 for 140,000 gold. I have 20 million sitting right now. I have $3,000 in Worldcraft cash right now that I could hand my elderly parents so they could buy prosthetics and stuff for their bodies and get medical bills and drugs and pay co-pays and coefficients and stuff. But no, the government done killed my job back when I was 12 years old. They literally drafted the law against what I do when I was like 12 years old. It took me until I was like 24 to find out. It took me until 27 before I had enough. And now I'm just here to try and kill them, essentially. I'm going to kill whatever controls this that's pretty much killing the gamers. I would say they're killing my entire constituency. I don't have a country. I have a family, thank God, but that's it. That's the only thing left. I've got like a family and a few friends. Got about enough friends to count on like two hands, you know, and enough to fill a 10 roster Facebook page is what I have. I got about 9 friends on my Facebook, right? Believe it's like 9, something like that. And so I don't keep a lot of people. Don't keep a lot of people around me. Don't keep a lot of money around me. Don't keep a lot of drugs around me. Don't keep a lot of possessions around me. Don't keep a lot of anything around me. I know, I'm not dumb. I know what'll happen. It'll get taken from me like everything else in my life. Monty got a raw deal, bitch, like REM on Automatic for the People, right? Like Skycat got a raw deal. It was a raw deal. I don't care what you fucking say. There was a barrier every single fucking step of the way. So now I go about the business of essentially turning my back. I would say it's turning my back on the people that ask me to turn around every time I try to slay a demon and worry about like the money or, you know, something like money or work or whatever. And so I just let all of these thoughts take control of my fucking brain ship and steer it off into the streets. And there's sirens singing, you know, Radiohead songs out there like they're there, you know, and I'm just another fucking disaster waiting to crash on the rocks, any port in the storm. You know, just waiting with my chaotic fucking neutral life. I don't know why it's like that. It just is. And it drives me fucking crazy. I came face to face with it today when I had to tell my friend that I had left the American political system in 2015. Do you have any fucking idea how much that embarrasses me? You want to know how embarrassing that is for me to tell him that when I'm mid-40s? I mean, I've known it since I was 23. I could have told him back then, but I mean, I didn't even admit it like back then because it terrifies me. But like the reality is, like, I don't really condone this government. I don't want them here. I don't want the damage that they did. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't like their figureheads. I view both parties as traitors. I think that do nothing Congress killed us and all this other stuff. And I thought this for a long time. And when you're a punk singer and you write it out into lyrics and you take it live, you're not joking. I actually meant these things. Kill the president or otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And so now, like, I'm in this place where every day I have to self-examine what my motives are, what my commitments are, what my friendships are, what my leanings are, what my money is, which is non-existent all my life for 100,000 hours tendered. You want to see how I have 13 to 17,000 hours of videos on YouTube? I could show you paycheck stubs. They're in my drawer over there of the 100,000 hours that I worked for, you know, $9 an hour or something like that, and the $900,000 that I spent on rent. Or whatever. It's less than that. It's like 30,000 hours or something. And the $9 an hour I made, and the 270,000 that I spent on rent in my lifetime, right? And dear God, why? So that some landlord could get rich that's an American who dislikes me because I'm not a rich landlord like them, right? No. Sooner or later, you have to stop going to school. I mean, I started doing this when I was like 8th grade. I failed out of the 8th grade. My mother, she damn near, like, you know, unended herself or whatever because she just couldn't handle the fact that I was so self-destructive. But the real problem is I didn't want homework. I didn't want school. I didn't want anything that wasn't video game, music, and drugs. Video games, music, and drugs. I didn't want the education. I don't want the people. I don't want the politics. I don't want the problems. I would have gotten away with being a solo band if I could have. I wrote all the lyrics. I wrote the melody. I bought the drum set. I started the drums and I played my own beat at first until we got a drummer and all this. I ran the raids after a bit. I mean, I didn't run the raids that I was in with Baegon, but I ran the ones afterwards. And like fucking, you know, like I don't know. Like the problem is like sooner or later you have to realize that you've just been like walking on thin ice with humanity, and they're never going to let you make $1. They're never going to let the doomer generation make $1. They're never going to let you guys have homes like they did me. I think they kind of owe me a home because it's been 30 years of hell since 9/11, you know, 25 years. But, like, they don't really owe you that. 9/11 didn't really happen on your guys' watch. You know, they don't really owe you something. I feel like they owe me something because it was, like, 10 years of fear, 20 years of Afghanistan quagmire. I enlisted in the Navy at the time. They wouldn't let me help them. Just another barrier, right? Like, you know, like, I'm sorry, but it's just, like, every step of the way. From my friendships, lost all those. From my drug addictions, lost all those. From my girlfriends, lost all those. It's not that I'm a loser. It's really not. It's that every single time I trusted in another, I gave them control. Every single time that I take control, I go, straight to the top, let the album fucking drop. Every single fucking time that I take control of and hold the wheel and steer, instead, I put down the wine and I hold the steer, I hold the wheel and steer, and like turn the water into wine and all this. And I just, I'm at this point now where I don't want the commitments that aren't mine, I just don't. I think I've done so much for my family and my friends all of my life, and the only thing I've ever asked them for in return is like, save me from this terrible world that we built. I've been eaten by the wolves and cast out into the system, fallen addiction to their cut. I don't feel I don't. You know what? Methamphetamine and heroin do not fucking scare me. I would mainline them. They don't scare me if they were pure. What scares me is the cut. What scares me is the rich white guy standing on the cut and murdering us all and causing all these people to be trank retards. It's the Martin Skrellies of the world that caused the drug war and all the death and all this and all the skibbity toilets out there, So understand, sooner or later I have to address this battle plan where I'm like, yeah, hey Baegon, I stopped believing in any American fucking figurehead in 2001 when they killed us all. And and you citing Ruth Bader Ginsburg at me is cool. But that's, to me, that's sort of like if you were to make football cards or baseball cards about supervillains like Pol Pot or, I don't know, who's the North Korean people or Saddam Hussein, right? Like, weapons of mass destruction people. Every time that somebody drops like a Joe Biden or a Hunter Biden name or a Donald Trump, I think they've been so lied to and so eaten into the zeitgeist and totally taken advantage of and spun around till they're like in an MLM of lies that only rolls the power, credit, and money upwards and shit, so the poor are always poor, right? So we need to flip the pyramid, which is a reoccurring theme. But, I told my friend about a video tonight, and I'm going to go send it to him. The pyramid of Memphis, right? The Memphis pyramid. Yep. Exploring the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. Which one was best? It was this guy. Oh no, this one was the best. No, this guy was really good. I actually really like this guy. He's actually really fucking good. This guy was so good. I want to watch some other stuff that Quiet's done. He's so fucking good. I gotta go link to my friend because I promised I would, and I didn't. The horrors of the Bass Pro Shop pyramid, right? So around 2001, they started building, right around 2001, it was all over the world, right? They're all over the world. They started building Bass Pro Shop pyramids instead of paying rent and paying for food and subsidizing farms and getting mental health taken care of. And they started columbining instead of talking about their problems. And so I stopped trusting them, and now I don't want to be part of humanity anymore. I believe I am the only human left. And, I mean, not me personally, but I think like the people that I know that I still trust are the only people left, which is kind of crazy to me. It's like we're all trapped in some Smith Family Robinson but it's on the internet. We're like trapped on an island, but the island's on the internet, so we can access the island from our house, right? But we've all been Swiss Family Robinson by the American government geopolitical like prison industrial system. And anybody who drops a buzzword or a fucking party name or elephant, my favorite lyrics about this are a wonderful song by a band called Against Me called Baby, I'm an Anarchist. I guess I'll get off my YouTube channel now because the session's ending here, guys. I'm going to do 2 hours of Fortnite Reload. Fortnite Reload is so good. So I'm going to do 2 hours of Fortnite Reload, and I'm going to listen to some music tonight. But I'm going to get off my YouTube first before I do that and shut off my fans and go pee and shut all the windows. And I'm going to do one more session for an hour and a half until midnight my time, which is an hour and 35 minutes. and or 45 minutes, and so yeah, and I will do a Fortnite session with some music on, and we're gonna listen to this "Against Me" song, because this "Against Me" song pretty much helped me form my geopolitical identity. I mean, I really feel this way. I believe that this song kind of changed my life, you know. And so "Against Me" definitely did change my life. I'm a convert. If I were to join like a leftist, anti-fascist, you know, progressive punk rock like political system, if "Against Me" were to run as a political entity, I would vote for them for president, you know, or anti-flag, or well, 15, you know, or Fat Mike would do it. Fat Mike would be okay. Fat Mike could do it. Fat Mike would be the best one. I don't know if you guys know who Fat Mike is. He's the lead singer of NoFX, the greatest punk band that ever lived. NoFX, hands down king. I don't like calling kings, but I mean, NoFX is the king. They're the king of punk rock, I would say. Definitely the big one. So, but anyways, where was I going? I'm going to log off YouTube now. So before I go, people on YouTube, I am skycat.live. Thank you for hanging out for my 16-hour and 20-minute 7 Days to Die session. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope the content was good today. I'm sorry that I didn't respond to any text or chat or follow or anything like that. It's nothing personal. I'm recording. And speaking of recording, this 16-hour and 30-minute session was recorded. It will end here, and it will be placed on my channel in the next 24 hours, and when this session, in the next 3 hours when this session ends. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channels to give me likes and subs and follows today. For those of you who are watching me on the stream, I am going from on Twitch. I'm going to remain on Twitch. I'm going to blast some punk rock. Not blast it. I'm going to just play some punk rock, and I'm going to get on Fortnite and with people who are half my age, and I'm gonna kick their fucking ass for all my worth. You know what I'm saying? So goodbye, YouTube. I love you. Goodbye, YouTube recording. The video will be up in 3 hours, and you can see this 7 or 8 part session at 2.5 hours apart in its entirety. If you wanted to learn something or see the strategy of how to start in 7 Days to Die, I'm gonna name the video "Getting Started in 7 Days to Die" co-op session featuring Baegon, and you'll see it. You'll see it tonight in the next. Well, you won't see it tonight. You'll see it tomorrow night. It takes 24 hours for YouTube to upload 500 gigs, so it'll take about it'll take a while. So thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm going to end the recording here. Sorry for the long ending soliloquy, but being a multi-potentiality streamer with 5 or 6 different main games and all kinds of side games and stuff, I have to warn you guys in all good conscience, excuse me, both to Twitch and YouTube and or any other platforms that I'm on. I have to warn you that I'm changing games. The title of the stream will change now from 7 Days to Die to Fortnite, and if you were here for 7 Days to Die, thank you. I love you for your patronage. Could use a like, sub, or a follow if you wish to see us build a 7 Days to Die empire and turn an entire city into our personal fiefdom. Please tune in tomorrow. We will be there for at least 2 hours, and come check us out. And if not, I'll be on stream for 13 hours that day. And if co-op isn't what you're looking for, I'll be playing some Rust, some Eve, I'm sorry, not Rust, but I'll be playing some 7 Days to Die, some Eve Online, and some FFXI. This is where I bid adieu to my recording people and my YouTube people, as I cannot risk DMCA by playing a punk song and singing at the same time, which is fine because it's transformative on Twitch, but it's not okay on YouTube because somebody owns the IP on YouTube. So thank you for your time. I love you guys once again. Thank you, Skycat Live. Come to skycat.live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Come and click on the cast face to donate. Thank you for your time. I love you. We are transitioning to Fortnite here and taking a 5-minute bio. I'm going to pause out here. I'm going to kill the video and the YouTube video.